In the quiet town of Fairview, Missouri, nestled between rusting railroad tracks and whispering woods, 12-year-old Aiden Whitmore vanished without a trace on the night of October 12, 2019. His mother, Dana Whitmore, had tucked him into bed at 9:02 p.m. She remembered the time exactly, because it was the first night in weeks he hadn't asked to sleep with the lights on. By morning, his bed was made. The window was open, and Aiden was gone. What followed was a descent into a mother's worst nightmare, one made more harrowing by what she would discover, and what she could never explain. Dana called 911 at 7:12 a.m., her voice trembling with panic. "My son's missing," she cried. "His bed is cold and the window's open." Police arrived within 10 minutes. The initial investigation turned up no signs of forced entry, no fingerprints, no footprints in the moist earth below the window. It was as though the boy had vanished into thin air. The search expanded rapidly. Volunteers combed the woods. Helicopters scanned the tree canopy. The entire town joined in, some driven by sympathy, others by fear. But days passed, then weeks, and nothing surfaced. Not a shoe, not a shred of clothing. Nothing. But Dana wasn't ready to give up. Refusing to accept the growing whispers that Aiden had run away, she began searching his room over and over. It was on the 21st day that she found something. A journal wedged behind the dresser, filled with childish handwriting and deeply unsettling entries. "There's someone watching me," Aiden had written. "He stands at the edge of the woods. He doesn't move. But I know he's real." The entries became more frantic with each page. "He was closer last night. He doesn't blink. I can feel him even when I close the blinds." Dana brought the journal to police, but they dismissed it as imagination. Local legend. Just a child spooked by shadows. But Fairview had heard of the Watcher before. Stories had circulated since the 1950s of a faceless man who haunted the woods, who stood still as stone, who appeared only to children. Most dismissed it as folklore. But now Dana wondered, what if the legend was more than that? Digging deeper, she found 5 other missing child cases in Fairview's history, all sharing haunting similarities. The children were around the same age. The disappearances occurred in October. Each child's room had an open window. Each case had gone cold. At the same time, Dana began receiving anonymous letters. One read, "He walks below. Look under the town." Another contained nothing but a single symbol, an eye, drawn in red ink. The police believed it was a hoax. Dana believed it was a breadcrumb. That's when maintenance workers discovered a hidden entrance beneath the town's oldest church, sealed decades prior and undocumented. Inside was a network of tunnels, narrow and ancient, stretching for miles. When police entered with body cameras, they found walls scrawled with names in chalk. Dozens of them. Aiden's among them. Then came the backpack. Moldy, torn, found deep inside the tunnels. It contained Aiden's hoodie, his school ID, and a page from his journal, this one not previously seen. The words on it read, "He said she was here too." The words puzzled investigators. She? Who was she? The twist came with the DNA analysis. It confirmed the backpack had been handled by 2 people, Aiden and someone who shared his maternal DNA, a full sibling. But Dana had only one child. When confronted, Dana confessed something she'd never told the police. She had a daughter, Emily, who disappeared 15 years prior at the age of 6. According to Dana, Emily drowned in a lake while the family was vacationing out of state. But no death certificate could be found. No funeral record. No coroner's report. It was as if Emily, like Aiden, had simply vanished. Photographs surfaced, faded but revealing. Dana with 2 children. The second child, Emily, looked uncannily similar to Aiden. Same eyes, same expression, same quiet presence. Police reopened the old case, interviewing locals who had been around at the time. One retired officer recalled a call reporting a missing girl near the same woods. But there was no follow-up. The file had disappeared, vanished from official records, and now both siblings were gone. Dana began experiencing something else, something darker. She claimed to see a figure outside her home, always at dusk. Tall, still, staring from the woods. She took photos, but each image showed only trees. And yet, she insisted, "He's there, watching me," like he watched them. Investigators explored the tunnels further, but one section had collapsed, possibly intentionally. Behind the rubble, thermal imaging suggested a large, sealed chamber. But excavation ceased after a state inspection cited structural instability. That chamber remains untouched. The final journal entry, recovered from Aiden's belongings, read, "He's inside now. He doesn't speak. He waits. And I hear her singing." Dana recognized the tune. It was a lullaby she used to sing to Emily. No further evidence has surfaced. No remains. No ransom. No sightings. Just silence. And shadow. Some locals believe the watcher is real. A presence tied to the land, drawn to fear. Others insist it's human, an elusive predator exploiting a myth. But no one has been caught. No resolution has come. Dana still lives in Fairview. She's moved 3 times in the last year, but she hasn't left town. "He knows where I am," she says. "And if I leave, he might follow." To this day, the case remains open. The woods remain quiet, and every October, parents in Fairview shut their windows early. They keep the lights on. They watch the trees, because no one knows if he's still watching. No one knows what happened to Aiden Whitmore, and no one knows who or what took Emily first. The media lost interest after the first year. The headlines faded, the vigils grew smaller, and eventually, even the police stopped returning Dana's calls. But she never stopped searching. Every day, she drove past the woods. Every week, she posted new flyers, even as they were torn down or left to rot in the rain. Her house became a shrine. Aiden's shoes by the door, his cereal bowl untouched in the sink, the journal resting like scripture beside her bed. And still, the dreams came. In them, she saw Aiden standing in the forest, back turned to her, unmoving. She called to him, but he wouldn't turn. Behind him, always just out of focus, the shape, the thing with no face. She would wake up screaming, always at 3:11 a.m., the exact time she believed he had been taken. Then, in late 2021, a new discovery changed everything again. A hunter in the woods stumbled upon an old shack, rotting, buried in vines, long forgotten. Inside, beneath floorboards warped by time, they found bones. Dozens of them. Most were animal. A few were not. Among them, a necklace, a small gold charm, in the shape of an E. Dana identified it instantly. Emily's. A birthday gift, given 2 weeks before she vanished. The bones were inconclusive. A forensic anthropologist determined they belonged to at least 3 individuals, all under the age of 15. 2 were girls. 1 may have been a boy. But without DNA matches, the identities remain unknown. What chilled investigators most was the wall. Scratched into wood were messages, some in childish scrawl, others nearly illegible. One phrase repeated, over and over, in all sizes and styles, "He waits below." That phrase, "he waits below," appeared in Aiden's journal. It appeared in the anonymous letter delivered to police. And now, here it was again, carved into the decaying walls of a structure no one remembered building. After the shack's discovery, Dana began receiving calls from strangers, whispered voices at 2 a.m., silent hang-ups, and one message, recorded on her voicemail, that left her trembling. A child's voice, giggling, then whispering, "He's not watching me anymore. He's watching you." The number was untraceable, the voice unidentifiable. But Dana recognized the laugh. It was Emily's. Whether a cruel prank or something else, Dana didn't care. She took it as a sign. Proof that Emily, some part of her, was still out there. Or worse, had never truly left. In 2022, Dana went public again. She pleaded for federal help. Launched a podcast to spread awareness. But what she also did secretly was begin researching the land itself. The property lines. The town's founding. She discovered something most people in Fairview had long forgotten. Fairview was built on top of an abandoned mining town. Beneath the streets, an entire buried network of tunnels, mines, and sealed corridors dating back to the 1800s. Many had caved in or been destroyed during Prohibition raids, but some remained, and one of them, Dana believed, was the one Aiden had been led into, or dragged into. Old Town records described a sinkhole collapse in 1896. 3 children were lost. Their bodies never recovered. Their names? Emily, Clara, and Samuel. A coincidence? Dana no longer believed in those. The legend of the Watcher appeared in local newspapers as early as 1911. Then again in 1933, and then vanished until Whispers began again in the 80s. Always the same story. A tall man in the woods, seen only by children, always silent, always waiting. One psychologist posited mass hysteria. A town-wide generational trauma passed like a virus. But others saw something deeper, pattern, a ritual, a darkness fed over time. And then, another child vanished. April 2023. 10-year-old Brooke Eddington disappeared while walking her dog near the eastern woods. No struggle, no sound. The dog returned. Brooke did not. Her room? Window open. Her diary? Final entry read, "He doesn't want me. He wants the boy." The boy, Aiden? Brooke's disappearance reignited the investigation. The town panicked. Media returned. But nothing was found. No sign. No trail. Until a package arrived on Dana's porch. Inside was a flash drive. Contained a single video. Time-stamped for the day Brooke vanished. No sound. Just footage from inside a tunnel. Shaky. Grainy. Lit by flashlight. At the end of the corridor, barely visible, a boy. Shirt torn. Eyes wide. Just standing there. Dana screamed when she saw it. Because the boy, emaciated, pale, older, was Aiden. Still alive. Or something that used to be. He looked at the camera. Then behind him, the shadows moved. A shape stepped forward. Tall. Still. Faceless. Then static. The footage ended. The police said the file was corrupted. Experts claimed it could be faked. But Dana believed. Because one detail no one noticed, but she did. Around Aiden's wrist? Emily's charm. The gold E. She wears it now. Or he does. Or they both do. Fairview is quiet again. But every October, the air grows colder. Every October, a child hears a whisper. And every October, Dana stands at the edge of the woods, waiting, because somewhere down below something waits too. He is patient. He is timeless. And he is not done. Not yet. Weeks passed without further incident. But Dana remained on edge. She began keeping a journal herself, not unlike Aiden's. She wrote down every noise, every shadow that lingered too long, every dream that felt too real. On October 11th, 2023, exactly 4 years since Aiden vanished, she found her front door open. Not broken, not forced, just open. Inside, everything was untouched, except the photo of Aiden and Emily on her mantel. It had been turned face down. She reported it. No prints. No forced entry. Police chalked it up to forgetfulness, stress, paranoia. But Dana knew better. She changed the locks again, installed cameras, bought a gun, and then she waited. That same week, she received an envelope in the mail. No return address, no postage stamp, just her name in shaky handwriting. Inside was a single page, folded twice, old paper, smelled like damp earth. On it, a child's drawing, crayon, a stick figure mother, a stick figure boy, a tall black shape beside them, all three holding hands. Below it, the words, "We miss you, Mommy." Dana collapsed. The handwriting matched Emily's. The police were called again. They said the drawing could have been forged, planted. They offered no answers, just reassurances. But Dana no longer sought their help. She knew what the law couldn't accept, that whatever had taken her children was still out there. And now it wanted her. The dreams worsened. She saw herself underground, kneeling in a chamber of stone, her hands covered in soil. Children's voices whispered all around her, chanting in unison. a nursery rhyme she didn't recognize but somehow remembered. And then always the silence, the cold breath behind her neck, and the feeling of someone watching, waiting. She set up motion-triggered cameras in her backyard, facing the woods. Most nights they captured nothing. But on the morning of October 31st, 2023, one camera had been moved, pivoted, facing her house, and the lens was cracked. The footage showed a flicker of something. Just a frame. One frame. A figure. Not moving. Standing among the trees. White. Faceless. Arms too long. Head tilted slightly. 1 second. Then gone. The following morning, Dana's journal was missing. Taken from her nightstand. In its place, a single page. Her handwriting. But she hadn't written it. I saw him again. I went willingly. Signed, Dana. She doesn't remember writing it. The police dismissed it. Suggested dissociative episodes. Stress-induced memory loss. But the psychiatrist Dana visited confirmed she showed no signs of delusion. No signs of mental illness. No signs of fabrication. She was sane. And terrified. In January 2024, a man named Eli Matthews came forward with new information. A local archivist and amateur historian, Eli had found old documents during a restoration project in the town's records hall. Among them, a faded map dated 1872. It depicted a tunnel network running beneath Fairview, and a series of sealed chambers marked with symbols. One was labeled Nursery, another, the Hollow Man's Hall. Eli reached out to Dana. Together, they pored over the documents. In the margins of one map, in a child's scribble, were the words, "He comes for the ones no one hears." Dana broke down. That's what Aiden said. When he thought I wasn't listening. Then, on March 2nd, 2024, Eli disappeared. His front door was locked. His computer wiped. His files on the tunnels missing. But his phone was left behind, still recording. The audio clip was brief. 18 seconds. Shuffling. Breathing. Then Eli's voice, whispering, "Oh God, you're real," followed by static. Then silence. Dana was left alone again, and she began to understand. This was never just about her children. It was something older, something woven into the bones of the land. A cycle, a sacrifice, a calling. She began preparing. On March 21st, she drove to the church where the hidden tunnels had first been discovered. The building was condemned now, fenced off, forgotten. But she found a way in. She left a note behind. Simple, short. "I'm going to find them." She was never seen again. Her car was found 2 days later, parked at the edge of the woods. Inside, her keys, her phone, a new journal. Last entry, "He's been waiting for me. I think he's always been waiting for me. I can feel her close now. I can hear him breathing." No body was found. No tunnel entrance located. No answers given. But children in Fairview still whisper about a pale man in the trees. Still claim to see a boy in a torn hoodie or a girl with golden hair singing to the stars. And every Halloween, a candle appears on Dana's porch, lit, flickering, with a drawing tucked beneath it. Always the same picture. A mother, 2 children, and a tall black figure, all holding hands. The town no longer speaks of the watcher, but some still believe, because children keep vanishing, and the woods are never silent. Not really. He waits below. For more chilling true crime content, subscribe to this channel.